Hi everyone, John here from the WATCHMAN'S mantle. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I know they all are, right? I'm going to start with a verse, and then I'm just going to share a little bit, and we'll see how long this goes. So anyway, I'm going to take a look at a verse, Isaiah chapter 61, and looking at verse 3. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. And kind of I'm just kind of looking at the center, kind of the center section of this, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. And I know in context, obviously this is, to proclaim, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion. I know obviously this is, has specific context and stuff like that. But I've really been thinking about these verses, particularly give unto them beauty for ashes. It was this past Tuesday, the 8th, that Katy went home to be with the Lord. It's been a year. Sorry. It was this past Tuesday. Like I said, it's been a year since Katy went home to be with the Lord. And it's been, it's been a lot of rough times, a lot of questioning, a lot of just wondering why and stuff. And, obviously just with a year past, it still hasn't been easy. It's not like, oh, it's been a year, so, you're probably all good now, right? Type thing. And I know nobody has said that. But a lot of times we think when somebody's going through, a time of mourning or struggles and stuff, that we've even said it. We think about the idea of like, oh, time heals all wounds type thing. And as time passes, things don't necessarily heal if we're not dealing with them. They don't just go away. They don't just, well, you're all good, right? I mean, it's been a year and you've been dealing with it and stuff like that. And I know for me and some, obviously some people know, we've been going to a grief support group, grief share and stuff. And I would recommend if anybody's going through the grieving process and stuff like that, please, get involved in a grief support group, because it definitely helps to be able to share and talk with people that are going through similar things that you are, that have dealt with the loss of a spouse, of a child, of parents, or grandparents, whoever it is. It definitely helps to go through that with people who know and have a little bit better understanding and stuff like that. And knowing this, and these are things that I've been kind of learning through this, through going through this time and stuff like that, is mourning is so individual and so it's so well, like I said, it's individual, but it's really, it's tailored to each person depending on their relationship with who they lost. And that might seem like really obvious, but there's no, well, this is the right way to mourn, or this is the right way to grieve, and this is the wrong way and stuff like that. And I'm not saying there's not, I mean, let me say this: anger, bitterness, these things, these different things that creep in because of what you're going through. You need to handle those right. Is it wrong that you're gonna be angry? Is it wrong that you're gonna have doubts? Is there wrong that you're gonna question or ask, God, why? those things aren't necessarily in and of themselves wrong. It's how we deal with them and how are we handling them. And I was sharing a little bit today at church, just the idea that, for me, it seems like this is what I want, God. I want you to give me beauty for ashes, and some of you know, some of you might not know that Katy was cremated and stuff, and I've got her urn up on the bookshelf and stuff like that, and that's and I'm not trying to be I'm not being disrespectful at all and stuff like that, but it's just it's that thought of beauty for ashes, and the idea that let me say this as I'm just kind of starting out here and stuff. I don't have a lot of Bible verses that I'm going to be sharing today. I'm just kind of focusing in on a few of these and stuff like that, and really thinking about beauty for ashes and the oil of joy for mourning and the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness and stuff, and that has been the definition of what I've been going through. I don't know what the whole family has been thinking about a lot of times and stuff, but it's just the hardness of losing the love of your life. I mean, and let me say this also is, I love the Lord. I'm thankful for him. I'm thankful that we're going to get to go and see Katy because she's with the Lord. And it's not because of, Katy was so great or this, that, and the other thing. It's because she trusted the Lord. That's it. It's not anything, that, she just, she was just so super special. God, saw fit to, to save her or she, checked all these boxes and stuff like that. She trusted Jesus. She believed what he did for her on the cross, that he took her sins upon himself, that he died in her place, that her sin, her iniquity was laid on Jesus, and she believed that. And it didn't stop there. It didn't end when he died on the cross. He died on the cross, he was buried, and he rose again the third day. Her sin is gone. Your sin is gone. My sin is gone. It's paid for. What have you done about it? Not you trying to pay for your own sin. It's Jesus paid for it. What have you done with Jesus? What have you done about this free gift that's offered? You believe, you receive it. If you haven't, then you're not saved. How do you get saved? You believe what Jesus did for you. And I want to share a little bit. And I'm gonna pray about this. I'm obviously recording this video Sunday evening and stuff. Well, you don't necessarily know that, but I'm recording it Sunday evening. I wanted to make this video on Tuesday and stuff, but we kind of had, it was just kind of a day that Joshua and I got to spend the day together, and then we had the family over and stuff, and had pizza and everything, and just really kind of enjoyed time with the family and stuff like that. And I just didn't have a chance to make the video, but I wanted to make it tonight and just kind of go through just some of the events of that day, that Tuesday the 8th of last year. It's not necessarily a video I was excited about making and stuff like that. It's like I said, it's not a Bible study and me expounding on verses necessarily and stuff like that. It's just kind of me sharing just a little bit about what we've been through and stuff. And I know some of you I've told you kind of what we went through and stuff like that. And this I just wanted to kind of share a little bit more. Anyway, so last year we I ended up getting sick first, and then Katy and Joshua got sick after me. And we had been sick for probably a week and a half, going on 2 weeks. I don't remember the exact timing and stuff like that, but we ended up, like I said, we were all sick, just all of us laying around. We'd turn the TV on. A lot of times we'd just kind of sleep with the TV on, or just we'd all sleep on the couch, or sometimes we'd be in bed sleeping and stuff like that. We were just all feeling lousy, and just really, really all going through it, and not eating, not sleeping well, sleeping a lot, but just, not getting the rest we need and stuff, having coughs and just, being achy and just really not feeling well, obviously. And it got to the point where we got a oxygen meter, a little thing goes on your finger. And this would have been the weekend, kind of my birthday weekend. My birthday's the 5th, and it was a Friday, I think. Friday. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Yeah, Friday, the 5th. So it was kind of going into that weekend and stuff. And at some point, we got this oxygen meter, and we're checking our oxygen levels. And Katy's oxygen level just wasn't good. It was just, she was just. The weird thing is, and I know people comment a lot of times that the videos aren't loud enough. I'm right in front of the mic. Just crank up the volume if it's not loud enough and stuff. I don't want to be yelling and stuff. So, but anyway, we were checking our oxygen levels. Josh was in the 90s. I think mine at one point got down to like 89 or something like that. And Katy's was, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it wasn't good, and, this was, Saturday into Sunday, and then Sunday into Monday and stuff like that. And we ended up borrowing an oxygen thing. We cranked it up, and we're, she's using oxygen and stuff like that. And it just wasn't, she was breathing. It's not like she had trouble breathing. She was breathing, but the oxygen really wasn't just, getting into her system like it needed to. And so anyway, it got to be, Sunday night probably was one of the worst nights we all had and stuff. She was just really, really kind of going through struggles and stuff like that. So it got to be Monday morning, and I ended up, I was asking her, I said, look, do you, maybe we should go to the emergency room. Maybe it's we'll go there, you'll get better, and we'll come back home and stuff like that. And anyway, I ended up calling 911 because I asked her, I said, would it be, do you want Joshua and I to try to get you into, our Yukon? Do you want us to try to lift you up in there and stuff like that? She's just kind of, shaky and stuff like that. She just didn't really, want to kind of walk around and stuff like that. Like I said, we just all been laying around for a week and a half, just not eating well, not sleeping well and stuff like that. She just wasn't, she wasn't herself. I said, well, why, we can try to get you in there, or I can call, I can call 911, I can call the ambulance, and they can come and, get you on a gurney and stuff like that, and get you, we'll get you over there, and you'll get better. And like I said, I'm recording this video. I'll just kind of make comment here and there, but I'm recording this video, and I'm going to pray about posting it. I'm going to probably ask maybe the family and stuff like that if they would be okay. If they're not, then I will just kind of let this video sit. So anyway, I called 911 that morning, Monday. It was Monday morning, Monday the 8th, last year. And they come, they come, and, we get her on the, they get her on the gurney, they hook her, up to the oxygen and stuff like that, get her into the ambulance and stuff. And they're checking things, and they're, checking her vitals and talking to her and stuff. And I'm, telling her, oh, she's going through this, and this and stuff. This is kind of the abridged version. I'm, not going into every detail and stuff, but anyway, so we end up, they're sitting there for, a little bit, like I said, just, kind of helping her in the ambulance and stuff, and they're asking, does she have a phone? Does she have does she have the stuff she needs or whatever? And her glasses, we left at the house. Her phone, which we didn't know at the time, but her phone ran out of minutes. We didn't, she needed a new phone card for her phone, so we didn't know that, so it wasn't working at that point. But anyway, so we drive over, and it's like as soon as I get into the car and stuff, start up the car and stuff, and I start making phone calls. I'm calling and texting people to be praying, hey, we're on the way to the hospital, and so people, please be praying. I called our local pastor friend here in town. I was texting other brothers and sisters in Christ. I was texting and calling family members, please be praying. We're going over to the hospital, this, that, and the other thing. And I think it was probably about 9 o'clock or so. We get over there. I called, I called 911. I don't know, 8:30, something like that. 9 o'clock or so. We're getting over to the ER. And this being 2021 and stuff like that, everything was kind of still shut down. Everybody's, wearing masks and stuff like that. And, so they weren't letting anybody inside, basically, into the hospital and stuff like that. We couldn't go in and see her right away and stuff. And, so they get there, and they're doing the stuff that they're doing on her. And we're just, we're kind of, in this waiting game and stuff like that. We're outside and stuff. And I'm still feeling lousy, not sleeping well, obviously. And I'm exhausted, and so we're, it's November, in Colorado and stuff like that. So in the sun, it feels pretty good. A wind starts blowing and it's cold, so Joshua and I are kind of just sitting in the Yukon. I'm kind of dozing off, just kind of waking up and then dozing back off a little bit, and people are texting, and I'm, trying to call people and stuff, and just, let them know what's going on, please be praying and stuff. And, anyway, and, several hours pass and stuff. I think it got to be, I don't know, 10 something or 11 something, whatever. And then I'm finally able to go inside, and, a lady comes up and says, would you like to, go see your wife? And I'm like, well, of course. Before this, they had asked her and said that they were talking to Katy and said that it's like, if we don't put you on a ventilator, you're not gonna make it today. You're gonna pass away if we don't get you on this ventilator. So they do, they put her on a ventilator. They ask her, and they do it and stuff. And like I said, we're outside. We don't know about any of this stuff. And she's on the ventilator and stuff. And when I go inside and stuff, finally, they tell me this. I think at the time my mother-in-law told me, Joshua was kind of relaying messages. I was kind of, laying in the car just trying to get better and stuff. Obviously Joshua had kind of he being young, and Joshua, he kind of, bounced back a lot quicker than we did. So anyway, he's kind of relaying messages about this. And at that point, they're trying to find her a bed in, we're kind of a small town here in Colorado, but they're trying to find her a bed in Denver, Colorado Springs, or something like that. And, well, we're going to have to go up there. And we're like, my thoughts are like, how am I going to pay for all this? And what are we going to do? And just all these thoughts are going through your head and stuff like that. And obviously you're thinking, I can't believe we're at this point and everything. And, obviously I'm, thinking about Katy, not just, what are we going to, how are we going to pay for this type thing, but it's just, gosh, what are we going to do? And so anyway, I'm able to, finally go inside and put, mask on and stuff like that. I'm still in I think I put a pair of pants on, but I still was kind of in my pajamas basically and stuff like that. And just, I just went feeling lousy, still. And, so anyway, I'm able to go inside at that point, and, they say, you can sit next to her, hold her hand, or stand next to her, hold her hand at that point and stuff like that. And these, again, this is a little over a year ago now, and I'm trying to remember all the details and stuff, and I'm sure some stuff will escape me, or I'll leave things out and stuff. But so anyway, just they're working on her and stuff, and she's just hooked up to this machine and stuff, and I don't know. I got thinking as I walked in, and everybody's working on her and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I want to take a picture and show her later. It's like, gosh, look, this is what you looked like. You were hooked up to this machine and all these, all this stuff. And I'm sure, like most of us and stuff, Katy didn't like doctors and hospitals, and just really didn't want to, just like, oh man, just. Nothing against doctors, but it just, she just never really had a good experience in hospitals and stuff. We had Joshua. We were planning on a home birth, and we ended up in the hospital for 4 days, 5 days, whatever it was, and ended up having a C-section, emergency C-section, and stuff like that. So it just, she just really didn't have good experience. But anyway, I didn't take a picture or anything, but. Like I said, she's just laying there, and I'm not exactly sure how much time passed, but she, they said, it's like, well, we need to do another chest X-ray or something, and so they said you got to kind of just go, wait in the hallway or something. So I do. I go out there. At first, I'm standing there, just wanting to almost collapse on the floor, just being. Just exhausted and still not feeling well and stuff. And then, I kind of look down this little, almost this little cubby in a way, a little, short hallway that has a desk at the end of it basically. And I see a chair there. So I pull the chair out and I just sit down, and people are texting me and stuff and whatever. And I'm kind of texting back, trying to keep everybody informed about what's going on and stuff. And at a certain point, I look above the room, and there's just a little bit more hustle and bustle and stuff, and I'm just like, what's going on? And there's like these flashing lights above the room, and I'm just thinking, I wonder what that means. Nobody's really coming to talk to me and stuff like that. And then one of the staff comes over, and says that it's like they're doing CPR on her. And I'm just like, I'm not processing all this, I'm just like, why are they doing CPR? What's going on? What do you mean? And so like I said, they're doing CPR on her, and this lady comes over and says, she asks, do you believe in God? And I said, of course. And she's like, well, why don't we pray for her? And so she kind of leads in a prayer and prays with me and stuff, and we're kind of leaving it in God's hands. And then she goes back to work and stuff, and I'm just sitting there. And I just get up and I'm like, I got to go get Joshua. I got to bring Joshua in here. Nobody's telling me anything really. And I'm like, what? I got to go get Joshua. So I go outside, and at that point, like I said, they were really letting people in and stuff like that into the hospital and stuff like that. So my mother-in-law had gone up the street and stuff, and she was. she wasn't there. She wasn't there at that point. I think she was going up the street and praying and stuff like that at their parish. And my sister-in-law was outside. So it was just my sister-in-law. We were there with her, and before that, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law were there, and it was just Joshua and I. So it was just Joshua out there with my sister-in-law, and I go outside and I said they're doing CPR on her, and I'm like, I just want to bring Joshua back inside, and again, I'm not even sure all the stuff I said, because I just really felt like a zombie at that point. Anyway, so I go back inside, I'm bringing Joshua and stuff like that, and we go into the waiting room area, and they got to buzz you into this inside. So they're I asked the lady, I said, look, we have to go see her, we want to be in there and stuff. And she's like, well, let me check, let me make sure and stuff. And they buzz us in, they let us in and stuff like that. And one of the nurses comes up to us and stuff. It's like, look, we're doing CPR on her, and basically told us it's not looking good. And I'm telling Joshua as we're walking in, I said, we're gonna, the three of us are gonna get healthy, and we're gonna get her out of here, and we're gonna, we gotta take care of each other. We gotta take care of ourselves better and stuff. And so anyway, we're walking down the hallway to go into the room, and I had never seen this, the different. Katy always liked hospital shows and stuff. She always liked ER and Grey's Anatomy and stuff. She always liked the medical stuff. But anyway, we walk into the room, and they said, that she's hooked up to this thing. They're doing CPR, and this thing basically it wrapped around her arms, and it's over top of her chest, and it's just pumping her heart. And she's just laying there on the table, laying there on the table. So, and I said, Josh, I'm sorry, she's just, she's like that and stuff. And they found some seats, or chairs or stools or something like that. So we just kind of sit in the corner, and we're just watching this thing pumping, and they're giving her, whatever they're giving her things, and they've got her hooked up to the ventilator, and the thing's pumping her hard, and it's like, just, it's so unreal. Joshua kind of described it after the fact. It's like, it was like It's a Wonderful Life, where you're kind of on the outside watching your life happen. And that's that was kind of the best description I could really think of too, is just, you're watching these things happen and not processing, not realizing. It's like, man, this is, is this even happening? I think I asked Joshua that at one point. I'm like, is this really happening? And we're praying. It's like, God, we know you can heal. We know you can change this right now. And we're praying, and we're asking, and I know other people are praying, and they're, at one point, like as soon as we walked in, we heard them say, family's present, everybody. And, so we're just sitting there watching this stuff happen. And like I said, I don't even know how much time passed. At one point, I'm looking up at the clock and just looking around the room, and I look at the one nurse or doctor. I don't, it's a lady, I don't know, they might have had name tags. I didn't notice, but I'm looking up at her, and she's just kind of looking down, almost not wanting to make eye contact, and just kind of shaking her head and looking at me. And I'm like, God, please, what is going on? And, I say this, as I'm saying all this and stuff, I want to tell people it's like, look, I trust God, I believe and trust him. And I don't I don't have the answers to the why question. I don't have answers always to the struggles and hurts and pain in this world and stuff like that. But I still trust God. I didn't give up. I didn't throw God out the window and the Bible out the window when Katy passed away. One second. I just had an alarm going off. Anyway, I just kind of get back on track for a moment. So we're sitting there, and it got to be a certain point. It's like, they're just like, does anybody have any other ideas? Is there something else that anybody can think of? And it was just all of a sudden, that was it. They, and you see on videos and stuff like that, they call the time or whatever and stuff like that. And I don't even remember the exact time and stuff like that, but it's like all of a sudden she was gone. And Joshua and I are just, we're just in tears, and we're just like, why, God? We're praying. People are praying for her. And this isn't the outcome that we were praying for. I mean, but I say that to say this. It's like, Katy's well. She is completely healed. She's not going through pain and suffering anymore. She's with the Lord because she trusted him. She believed the gospel. She believed what Jesus did for her. And I hope and pray that through all of this, that other people will come to know and trust the Lord too. But like I said, just all of a sudden everything came flooding back in, and then I'm like, well, that's it. She's gone. And I'm like, her mom's not here. I'm like, she's gone. And no, we didn't get to say goodbye. We couldn't even talk to her. And other people aren't in the room with us. And, I'm looking around, like, looking for answers. And I'm like, I got to go tell her mom she's gone, And I am trying to hold this together because I want to make this video. And you might be wondering, why are you trying to do this? And because this is part of our story, And the pain, the heartache and stuff, it's molding and shaping us and stuff like that. And it's been hard. It's been painful and stuff. And like I kind of going back to being in that ER room and then all of a sudden having to walk outside. And I walk outside and I don't know the stuff that's happening out there. I didn't know, more of the family got there and stuff like that. And I walk outside and I asked my mother-in-law later, I said, who told you that Katy passed away? I said, because I didn't see anybody outside. I get outside and I'm like, I didn't see anybody. And she told me, she's like, it was just a look on your face. And, the Bible talks a lot about the countenance and stuff like that. And it was just the look on my face, Joshua's face, that just told them that Katy's gone. And then all of a sudden, Joshua and I just kind of collapsed on the sidewalk there, and my father-in-law standing there holding our heads so we don't like fall over or hit our heads on the wall or whatever, and it's just, we're still trying to process. I mean, just over a year later, and I'm still trying to process. I was saying it the one day. I said, part of me, it's true. Part of me just never left that left that hospital room because, I mean, she's my wife. I loved her, and I still love her. And part of my heart, really just kind of died with her there on that table because, your heart's getting it together when you're married, and it's just so much pain and so much heartache and so much, I think about it like, going back to this verse, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes. And it's like, I feel like, I'm like, God, I want that again. I want beauty in my life again. And I want joy in my life again. Because I'm so sad. I'm so heartbroken and so hurt still, And my hope is always that maybe through my pain and my heartache and stuff, maybe I can help others deal with theirs and stuff. And I remember making the phone calls and stuff after, and I think I called my parents, and I said, Mom, she's gone, and called a dear friend of ours, and I said, she's gone, and she was on the phone. She's like, no, no, and I just had to say, yeah, she's gone. And I remember calling, our pastor friend, and I said, she's gone. And he's just like, oh, brother, I'm so sorry. And I'm going to kind of wrap this up. I know, like I said, it's just not like a lot of the videos I make, but I just kind of want to go through it for anybody that might not have known and stuff. And I really don't know all the details. I don't know everything that happened. I don't know what was happening outside when we were inside and things. And I don't know everything that happened with Katy, in the ER and stuff like that. But that's just kind of my story right now. And I was kind of sharing in church this morning. And I said, you know what? There's chapters in our lives. There's times in our lives when then we don't get the closure that we're looking for. We don't get the answer that we're looking for. And that doesn't mean that God dropped the ball. That doesn't mean that God is not good and loving and full of compassion. He's a God he's the God of all comfort the Bible talks about. And it's only going through the pain that we discover that he's the God of all comfort. And it's the comfort that we receive from him that we're able to then give that out to others. And like I said, I just want to kind of make this quick video and just kind of, I'm going to make more, Lord willing. And like I said, I'm going to probably ask the family and stuff and just... because I want to kind of share our story and stuff like that. And my hope and stuff, I say this to say this is, Katy and I always talked about writing a book together and just kind of our story and, kind of how the Lord's worked in our story and stuff like that. And my hope and prayer was always that, obviously Katy would be there to help with that. But I just... I'm hoping and praying to still do that. I want to do that, and I would appreciate everybody's prayers for that, to be able to kind of put that in writing and stuff. And but like I said, I say all that to say this is just God gives us beauty for ashes, and the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness and stuff. And it's not necessarily in our timing. It's not necessarily when we feel like we need it. It's from him. And we don't experience that comfort until we're actually going through things. And now in hindsight and stuff like that, I know I've shared this some and stuff like that, but just it was just a little while later that that dear sister that I was talking to on the phone and telling her that Katy's gone, and she was just like, no, that her husband went home to be with the Lord and stuff like that. And I can see now that God was working it out to and I'll close with one verse. And I know a lot of times this verse has been twisted and turned and made to say things it doesn't say. Romans 8:28, and people make it out to be that all things work together for good. And let me read the verse, Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to His purpose. And I can see God using our hurt and our struggles and using that for good. Not that the hurt and pain were, not that that was good, but He's working those things out for good to them that love God. And it's only after the fact that looking back and kind of seeing those things. It's not when you're in the midst of it. It's not when you're in the midst of the storm that you see that, oh, this is great. It's not that. It's going through those things and then kind of looking back. It's like, God, that's what you were working out. I didn't see it at the time, but I see it now. Thank you. And with that, like I said, I just want to kind of close with that. This is John with the Watchman's Mantle. I know this is a little bit different video, obviously, but I've been wanting to kind of put this together, and I do hope and pray it's an encouragement and a blessing. I pray that anybody, family, friends, whoever watches this would come to know and trust the Lord. And if you don't know Him, then please reach out and say, John, I don't know Him. I want to know this Jesus you're telling me about. I want to know how good and amazing He is. And through the struggles you've been through, and you can tell me that He's good and wonderful and precious, and that He loved me so much that He died for me. It's like, yes, let me tell you about Him. And that's my hope and prayer. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, this is John with the Watchman's Mantle. And I look forward to, Lord willing, see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye for now.